Hello everybody. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I organize my time. Time management was a concern that a lot of you expressed on that discussion board we had in 099 the first week of the semester. And for good reason, because several of you are working full-time and going to school full-time this semester. And that's a very challenging thing to do. Why is that challenging? Okay, well, you remember in the syllabus, I said that you should plan on spending 8 to 10 hours a week just on your English 101. I also said plan on spending 8 to 10 hours a week on just your English 099. Now imagine you've got 4 other classes. Generally speaking, 4 or more classes a semester is considered full-time, being a full-time student. Now, if you're spending 8 to 10 hours on each of your classes, that is somewhere between, let's say we just make it 9 average. That's 4 classes times 9 hours a week, 36 hours a week just on school if you're taking 4 classes, okay? Now, if you're also working 40 hours a week, let's add 36 hours of school, 40 hours of work, 76 hours. That's a 76 hours a week spent on either your job or your school. If you're lucky, maybe you have the kind of job where you can do some of your work, your schoolwork at work, but I know that's not the case for everybody. And how big of a bite is that of your time? Well, there's 24 hours a day times 7 hours and times 7 days in a week. There are 168 hours in a week. 76 hours is just a little bit less than half. Half of 168 is 84. And that's well over half of your waking hours. What are you going to do to keep from going crazy? Well, I will tell you that a lot of my previous students, the first thing to go was sleep. They skimped on sleep. That's not a great solution, and it's not a permanent solution. Another thing they do is drop leisure activities, video games or things like that. You're going to have to wait till Christmas to do some of those, okay? A third thing most of them do is sometimes they will cut their hours at work. Go down to 25 hours from 40 or something like that. I can't tell you what solution will work best for you. I just want you to know what you're up against. So if you're working full-time and you're going to school full-time and you feel like your time management sucks, it probably doesn't. The hard truth is you don't have much time to manage, okay? And I can't fix that for you, right? I can't give you more hours in a day. If I would, I could, but everybody's got 24, But I'm also making this video for those of you who might be fresh out of high school and you're used to having your time managed for you. And now everybody is telling you you're an adult and you have to do it on your own. And that can be really overwhelming. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I do to make it less overwhelming for me, because I'll be honest with you and say, oh, hi, Nancy. Time management is something that I've always struggled with. So one thing I do is I made a routine for myself. There are for the things that need to be done in my life every single day. Like I try to do yoga every morning because I'm old and I have back problems. Try to floss every day. I have to clean the litter box every day because obviously I have cats. I have bipolar disorder, full disclosure, so I have pills I have to take every single day. I try to chart my moods because that's a good way to head off a manic or a depressive episode before it comes. And look at this is what I do every morning. This is what I do every evening about an hour before bedtime. I check the weather for the next day and I make my to-do list and my schedule for the next day. I will talk more about that in a second. And I set my alarms for the next day and I do my dishes, I take my pills, I pick up each floor. Why is that on there? Because if I know I'm going to do it in the evening, I stress less about it during the day. I don't stress about dishes. I got dishes on the counter right now, but you know what? I'm going to do those an hour before I go to bed. So I don't have to worry about them right this second. The things I have to do once a week, I'm going to show you how I handle that. So a while ago, I made a list of all the things that need to be done at my house once a week. Like I put my pills in the little pill containers. I do laundry once a week. I put the cat bowls in the I washed them once a week, things like that. Pay my bills once a week. You know, you get the idea. And I made Sunday the day I do all those things because Sunday is usually a pretty chill day in Jackie's life. And for you, it might not be that day, but I bet you there's things you have to do once a week too. And it really helps to designate a day of the week when you're going to do those things, write it down, and put it somewhere. Like I stuck this in the back of my planner. Speaking of planner, this is my planner. Now, I showed you last week that I have a calendar on the wall. I have a calendar on the wall of like 3 rooms in my house, but this calendar lives on the wall. This goes with me places. I love being able to look at it. This is the way it's set up. This is the month of September. I write everything I've got going on down. Like at the beginning of the year, I write down people's birthdays and stuff. And I write down my appointments. Like Monday, I've got a chiropractor appointment. I have my writing center shifts, Wednesday and Thursday, things like that. And I write all these things down. So if I put these in my phone calendar, then I'd forget because number one, I can't see it every day. Number two, if I pick up my phone, I'm going to get distracted and start playing with the damn thing instead of looking at the calendar. That's why I keep a paper and pencil calendar. And I think I saw some of these on sale at Meijer last week if you want to get one for yourself. I cannot recommend this enough. I never had to keep one of these until I started teaching, to be completely honest with you, and it really helps me feel more in control of my life. I just love being able to see the whole month at once and be able to write down what I have going on each week, okay? And then another thing I do, and I do this every Sunday, it's part of my Sunday routine is the to-do lists. Now, Nancy, you're going to have to get your butt off of my notebook. I have a big old notebook, and every week there's a new page, and I kind of divide my life into school and not school. Some of you might need to divide it into school, work, and etc., or school, work, kids, and etc. But I kind of divide my life into school and not school. And I write down all the things I have to do for school over here, and the date and the day I got to do them, like Tuesday, I got to report your attendance to the college. I got to do that every single Tuesday. And like this semester, I got to work in the writing center every Wednesday and every Thursday. And then the not school stuff, it changes week by week. Like I announce bouts for the Flint roller derby team, and they got a bout Saturday night at Rollhaven I got to announce. Friday is my stepson Lucas's birthday. I'm going to have to figure out something to do for him. And these are just other things I have to do this week that aren't really day dependent. These are all the things I have to do for work this week. Do I get to everything on my list every week? Hell no. I'll show you. Last week was so busy that I had a lot going on last week. I highlighted all the things that absolutely had to be done. And as you can see, I haven't gotten done with all of them yet, but it's Sunday, the day is still young, I still have time to do these things. And then the other thing I do is I like to write down what to do with my day. Okay, you can see I did this last week. I know I could type this out on the computer and fill out a new one each week, but something about the act of writing it down makes me feel more in control of it. I don't know why. And it changes every week. I just started doing the one for this week. I don't have a lot on it yet because I haven't finished. But like tomorrow's Monday. I try to wake up about 7:30. I have my AM routine. Then my chiropractor appointment. I put in drive time there. It's at 8, gotta leave at 8. It's at 9, gotta leave at 8:45. Then I'm gonna go over to U of M Flint and swim my laps. Then I'm gonna come home and eat lunch. Then I'm gonna sit in front of the computer and get some work done for a while. I might need to break this up. That's a long time to sit. Anyway, these are some things I do to help me manage my life. How am I going to know when it's time to do all these things? Well, you saw set alarms on my schedule, right? That's because before I go to bed, I set alarms on my phone. Now I'm using my phone to make this video, so I'm going to show you my iPad. And just give me 1 second. See, I had it in alarms, and you can see where I've set a couple of alarms here. Like, I set one for tomorrow, 8:45, remind me to leave. And I set the same sound for all of my alarms. So when I hear the silk sound, I know it's time for me to get up and go somewhere. I've kind of conditioned myself to act when I hear that sound. And I need to do this not just for waking up in the morning, but when it's time for me to leave to go to an appointment, or if I'm going out, when it's time for me to start getting ready. Like, I might know, okay, I have to take a shower, I have to put on makeup, I have to curl my hair. Well, those things take time, so I set an alarm to remind me when to start doing those things. I set an alarm to remind me when to go to bed, because I'll get engrossed in something and not go to bed on time. And hey, if I want to wake up at 7:30, then I got to go to bed at a reasonable hour. I'm not a person that can get by with 6 hours of sleep, unfortunately. I need more like 8 or 9. It's part of being bipolar and being on bipolar meds. It sucks, but I've adapted to it. And if you're not, now I will be honest and tell you that making lists of what to do every day and when to do them, and setting alarms on your phone to remind you to start doing them, this does take some of the spontaneity out of life. And that kind of sucks, because I prefer to be a more spontaneous person. But I'm also a person that gets stressed out easy. And I'm a person who has a lot of responsibilities, just like any other adult. So I make a schedule, I write things down, and this is the last thing I'm going to show you. This is the to-do list. I make one of these every single night for the next day. I do the same 4 things every morning, and these are kind of part of the AM routine, but I put them on there anyway. I always put pills on my list because I have to take my bipolar pills every day. I check, usually with school, I check my email. Then today I had to do a homework reminder. I check discussions, and these are the other things I have to do today. These are the things that I need to do for myself. I forgot to give my cat his pills at noon, so I got to do it this evening. And anyway, I encourage you to do a to-do list for the next day every night too. I even divide my to-do list into school and not school. And this really helps me make me feel like my life is more manageable. Okay? Now, once again, none of these things I showed you is going to give you more time in the week if you don't have much time to manage. And doing this is not going to prevent you from spinning your wheels sometimes and going, what should I be doing now? Oh my God, I'm stressing. But it should help. Even if you just try a couple. If you've never done any of these things before, I encourage you to try doing a couple of them at least. Whichever ones you thought, oh, I could do that. I could set alarms in my iPhone too. You know what I mean? And I encourage you to try a couple and see if your life, or if your college life, if you're new to college, becomes more manageable. Oh, and I'm going to show you something else I do. I don't know if you heard me mention it, but I am taking a class this semester. And on this wall that I showed you in my How I Organized My Space video last week, I put up the homework I have each week for this ACUE class I'm taking. It's called Promoting Active Learning. And I have to finish this today. Like, one of the things on my to-do list was turn in my homework for this module today. And looking at this every day really helps me stay focused on what I have to do for that class. And I would encourage you to do this too. Write down or print out a list of the things you have to do every week for all of your classes and put it on the wall in your work area where you can see it every day. That should help you as well, because there's nothing like looking at something every day to help you remember it. Okay, I think that's everything I wanted to cover. If any of you have other ways to manage your time that really work well for you, you should let the rest of us know. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.